All right, it's the Brandon Cruz Daily Fantasy Podcast, where I go and look at loan plays and strategies specifically designed for GPPs. This is a show for people who are already informed on daily fantasy sports and how these contests operate. If you have any questions related to NASCAR, isn't a stupid question, feel free to send them away to Twitter, BrandonCruzDFS. Most importantly, take everything with a grain of salt and use your best judgment when making entries. Additionally, if you have a game addiction, it's just not my problem. Check your sense of feelings at the door. We're talking about the Cup Series at Sin City this weekend, the second race at Las Vegas. And outside of Kansas, the real last racetrack we're going to go to for the Cup Series this season, because after that we just have a bunch of short tracks. Obviously, we have the Roval, we have the Talladega race in this round as well. And so for a lot of drivers, I think that this race pretty much goes green because they know that they're going to run into issues at Talladega and on the Roval in some form or fashion. So I think this race, I think we can very easily look back specifically at Darlington and Atlanta for the last two intermediate tracks. Saying that correctly, right? Obviously, we have Michigan too. But yeah, I'm mainly looking at how people ran at Darlington, how people ran at Atlanta, even the speed at Pocono, and then Charlotte. Those would probably be the races that I would look at, and more specifically, probably Charlotte, Atlanta, and Darlington. You can look back. You can look farther back. You can even look at the last race here in Las Vegas I think in March when they ran here, and you can look at how well the Hendrick cars unloaded, how well Chase Elliott unloaded till he got that damage, and then for whatever reason they repaired the damage. I don't know. I've never understood that. Like, remember, back when they first got these kind of bodies out, you'd have the crew members slamming their hips into the area right in front of the rear tires, whereas like when you get damage there, why would you bother repairing it if NASCAR isn't going to force you to? I don't know why Chase Elliott's team did that this last time, but that's really the only takeaway. We also had Alex Bowman. I believe he blew a tire. Let me look back at this real quick to remember exactly what lap it was on, but Alex Bowman had to go to pit road late in that race, and that also changed the course of the optimal lineup. And so some guys were like, I believe Elliott was probably a top 5 car. I do believe, let me check and see where good old AB was at when he had to come in for the tire issue. Pretty sure it was a tire issue. Let's take a gander real quick. So and like I said, I like looking at lap by lap data, specifically, late in the race or late in the season here. This is where the teams are bringing their best cars. I mean, it's the playoffs. You got to bring the best cars. Let's take a gander at, where are you at, Alex Bowman? So Alex Bowman pitted on lap 252. Yeah, Alex Bowman was running in 9th, had a tire go down, and finished 27th in the race earlier in the season. And so that's really the only thing I'd kind of look back at the Las Vegas race, take real note of, is Alex Bowman finished poorer than how he was running. And Chase Elliott probably had a better car than what he ended up showing for the majority of that race. So if you look at it like race rating, or if you look at it, average running position, you got to remember that is kind of skewed because he had that damage. He had a much better car before that. Outside of that, it is kind of the same story as we've seen this whole year. Larson was dummy thick and dummy fast. Big boy up front is just killing the field. So it's going to be a Larson type of weekend. I fully believe that Larson is most likely going to, I think he runs away with this race. Probably leads over 120 laps. That's what I would look at right now. But Larson is probably going to be the main guy that I'm going to be looking at. Let me bring up my stuff over here, actually. I bet you I did. I X'd out of it. I got to bring my stuff up again. Hold on. Give me a moment. But yeah, this is a Kyle Larson type of week. I don't expect Larson to get all the fast laps as we've seen this year. This year probably more than other years, especially without the practice. These guys are just arriving to the track with what they're bringing off the trailer. Is that the race leader isn't necessarily getting as many fast laps as we have seen. I still expect Larson to get plenty of those, but I do expect to see people like Truex, Hamlin, probably even cars like Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, even Tyler Reddick to possibly get fast laps throughout this race. And so if you're using the term dominator, I still think it's always wise to build a 3 dominator lineup. I'm sure that's what most people call it. I just tend to play at least 4 guys that I think can either lead laps or get fast laps. I think that's how you should play it, regardless of who the drivers are. Like for this week, I like the idea of playing Larson together with either Elliott or Kyle Busch or both of those guys, but I also like the idea of playing Reddick. I like the idea of playing Harvick. Is Harvick necessarily a dominator? No, I don't think so. But we've seen Harvick not necessarily turn a corner, but Harvick's being more consistent this late in the season here. Eric Almirola getting faster. Kurt Busch is still fast. Ross Chastain is still fast. Most likely going to get fast laps as well. I expect Byron to get fast laps, and so that's why I hate the term dominator in a sense of answering. Do you need a 2 dominator, 3 dominator, 4 dominator lineup? Because every lineup you make should have 4 guys in every single race that are capable of getting fast laps if they're not going to lead. That's just how I would go about it. But gun to my head, love Larson this weekend. Blaney, I'm a bit concerned about. I just like other guys behind him. The reason I don't like, and it could happen, Larson could arrive to the track with a car that is just not set up. I highly doubt that due to the consistency that they've had just at these intermediate tracks. And because I don't see Blaney beating Larson out of turn 2. I really don't. I think it's a Larson show. And because of that, I don't think Blaney leads a ton. I don't think he necessarily gets a lot of fast laps. For $9,100, I just don't see it. So for me personally, at the moment, Wednesday noonish or 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, whatever time it is right now, he's out for me. He might pop back into the player pool later when I'm finalizing projections for Patreon, but right now it's a no. William Byron as well. I know I'm going to be paying up for probably 2 10K guys, or at least 3 guys above 9K. And because of that, I probably won't fit Byron in the lineups. I probably won't fit Blaney in the lineups at the moment. I do like the idea of playing Truex. I think Truex is probably going to be lower owned than how he should. I'm going to leave Truex in there as well. I like Harvick. I do think we're going to see maybe an overreaction of ownership heading to Harvick this weekend. So if he starts pushing anywhere towards 30%, I might end up trying to get off of Harvick as much. But I do want to have interest in Harvick. Not because of Bristol. I mean, let's look back at how Harvick has been doing as of late at certain tracks. And so I had the 4th best car at Darlington. That's great to see compared to where they started. 14th best car at Atlanta. Not great, but still good to see. Top 10 car at Pocono. I like to see that based on speed, where these cars are at on long straightaways, because that tells you a lot of aero information. That's why I love looking at Pocono. Charlotte, everybody already knows I use Charlotte as the... What is it called? Went blank on the word. But it's the end-all, be-all for me. Like, Charlotte is written in blood. That's where you're at in the intermediate package. And 7th at Charlotte, or 7th fastest car at Charlotte for Harvick. I like Harvick here. It's the playoffs. They're going to be points racing. I think Harvick understands this is his best chance to lead laps and get locked into the round of 8. And I think they're going to put all the eggs in the Las Vegas basket for Harvick. Because I like Harvick so much, don't know how much Hamlin I'm going to get. I got all... I know I said I didn't like Blaney and Byron, but I do have pretty much everybody inside the top 13 projected to get some fast laps or laps led at some point in the races. But, gun to my head right now, Hamlin probably my least interested of the 6 guys we've talked about so far. I like Alex Bowman. I think it's very easy for him to hit value. I see him getting some fast laps throughout the race. He's going to run inside the top 10 this entire day. I think 8,300 is a bit underpriced. Probably should have been around 85, 86. I like Alex Bowman. Keselowski I like as well. Harder for me to imagine a situation to where he gets those fast laps throughout this race, but we saw him, in the last race here at Las Vegas, run up front, get those fast laps. I think he's underpriced as well. I'm going to keep him in there. I prefer him over Logano. But then you got to ask yourself, what does Penske bring to Keselowski? I don't necessarily think that they're giving Keselowski crap equipment. I just think that other teams have been faster. I don't think it's a big factor. I don't think it's a big deal that Keselowski's changing teams and they're just throwing him the crap equipment. Personally, I don't, because Keselowski did a lot for the team. I don't think Penske's going to fuck him over exactly like that. And he would still be with Penske. It's just that, Roger Penske's, he's like, you don't want anybody else owning. He doesn't want anybody else in the ownership deal. That's all Keselowski wanted. He's like, Keselowski, or Mr. Penske, please, can I have like a 16th of the ownership. I just want to be a part of this organization. And Penske's like, no, I don't want no poor people. I don't want no ordinary people in here. I'm the only smart guy here. Whereas Roush is letting him, be a part of the team. Long story short, I don't think Keselowski's going to get bad equipment. I do like his price and like his pricing way more than Logano. I like Kyle Busch. I like Chase Elliott. I think you're only going to be able to use one of these guys in your line. Probably if you're going with Larson, it's probably going to be Larson and Kyle Busch or Larson and Elliott. Haven't really messed around with playing them both in a lineup, but off my head right now, I don't think it'll work. I think you'll probably have to do some ugly punts. Probably, I would probably do it with the Quinn Houff line. Quinn is still underpriced, starting close to last. This is a situation to where, depending on what the lineups are, probably not going to be optimal, but I don't mind going to Quinn Houff there. That's about my take. But that's all I have to say of the punt range. If you end up on Quinn Houff, I don't hate it. I just probably wouldn't have more than 25% Quinn Houff in lines. And you're probably like, well, that's crazy. I mean, some people probably want to have more than 2% of Quinn Houff, whereas I always punt at least in one line a week. I like Bell. I personally like Bell. I'm probably going to be overweight on him. When we look at the data and see how Bell has been performing at tracks that kind of really matter, he's way better at the short tracks. 11th fastest car at Darlington, a bit concerning because he is starting 12th. Atlanta, 11th fastest car at Atlanta, a bit concerning because he's starting 12th. Charlotte, that is where Joe Gibbs just decided not to show up as in general. 14th at Kansas, 11th at Darlington, won. He's not a top 10 car at these intermediate tracks. He is like 11th, 10th, 9th. He's a fringe top 10 contender. I just think. I think this is more of a game theory play. I think that's why I want to be overweight on him, just because I think people are going to be they're going to be underweight on him. So I want to kind of be a bit overweight. I would probably project him to finish around 9th or 8th right now with very slim amount of fast lap points. But if for whatever reason the 8K range doesn't work, I think a lot of people are going to go to Bowman. If Bowman doesn't work, if Byron doesn't work, then it might go to Bell working out in the 8K range, or you might not even need the 8K range this week, depending on how the lineups shake out. But personally, I kind of want to try and be overweight on Christopher Bell. Scares me a bit, but I've made dumber moves than that. I love Tyler Reddick. Reddick he's checking off all the boxes I want to check off. Darlington 2, 9th fastest car. Atlanta, 4th fastest car. Charlotte, 8th fastest car. I mean, everything is clicking for Tyler Reddick. Probably going to be my highest owned driver outside of Kyle Larson this weekend. Matt DiBenedetto. Going to be a no for me. I think I'm going to put a Christopher Bell as a B. Going to be a no for me. Austin Dillon, I wanted to like him, but man, when I project him, I think I'm going to project Austin Dillon to finish around 14th. Same thing around Matt DiBenedetto. I think I'm giving DiBenedetto a ceiling like 12th, probably a ceiling of Austin Dillon, probably 12th as well. Like I said, I got him projected for 14th right now. I'm not going to see much from there. Eric Jones just can't do it. I know he's $6,500, but I see him finishing around 19th here. I don't see much from him as well. Eric Almirola and Chastain are two guys that I really like. None of the same. Like, for whatever reason, ever since New Hampshire's been around, or ever since Atlanta, I'm trying to be over, or I've ended up being interested in Eric Almirola. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it hasn't. Looking at Darlington from a couple weeks back, 12th fastest car. I'd love to see that. 21st fastest at Atlanta. Bit concerning. Nashville, 2nd. I do think you can kind of look at Nashville. I know it's a different package. But I at least want to see it. Like, I'm kind of grasping at straws for Eric Almirola. It's mainly Darlington that I'm looking at and that I'm liking, because he's starting 17th. I think he's underpriced. Should be around 74, even a bit higher. I think I'll take the discount that we get on Eric Almirola at $7,000. And I love the idea of playing Eric Almirola and Tyler Reddick together with Kyle Larson and whoever else you want. Like, I think that makes a lot of sense. And it's actually not that risky at all. I like him. I like Chastain. I'm not going to talk much about Chastain. anything you look at right now is showing that this car is a fast car, underpriced. I don't know why he's $7,900. I love Chastain this weekend, which I'm pretty sure everybody will be. Briscoe, I think his ceiling finishing where he's starting. Kurt Busch is interesting. Haven't finished my projections for him yet. I'm giving him a 10th place finish right now. That's a bit worse than how he's been running, because if we look at the last intermediate tracks that they've ran, obviously he won at Atlanta. When you look at Darlington 2, third fastest car. Good to see. Don't know if he can repeat that, but he did win last year at this track in this race with temperature change. I think you got to consider him. And I would much rather take a risk on somebody starting 20th, $9,500. Like, this seems like a place where DraftKings should have priced him at 10 just because that's what they always do. I'll take it. If I hear that he's going to be close to 33, 35, anything over that, I might try and bring my ownership on Kurt Busch down. But I like Kurt Busch. I don't hate it. Sorry, I keep hitting different things. Don't mind Kurt Busch. Bubba Wallace is concerning. When you look at Darlington 2, 23rd. When you look at Atlanta, he was 16th. Somewhere around there. I think this is more like and he was off sequence at Las Vegas the previous time. Excuse me. He got off sequence at Las Vegas because they had a issue. They had to go a couple laps down. But Wallace did have good speed. It seems to me like the tracks that he's having the most speed at are the intermediate tracks, because 13th fastest at Charlotte. Good to see. Pocono. Good on speed. It may be the setups. And I mean, I still think it's Bubba. I don't think Bubba's the best race car driver in the world. Not a lot of these guys are. But this seems like a race where Bubba Wallace is going to run around 17th, 16th, 15th. I'm fine with that. I don't hate Bubba this weekend. Don't hate him at all. As we start going down, Bubba is probably my favorite play of the 6K range right now. Stenhouse is just, God, dude. His ceiling for me is like 18th, 15th. I don't see it from Stenhouse. Got to keep him as a D in there right now, but I just don't see it. Right now, not going to McDowell. Probably not going to go to Priest, although we have seen him. My bad. I do have consideration for Priest because he has been running a bit better on the intermediate tracks. It's almost like between Priest and Stenhouse, I'd actually rather go to Priest over Stenhouse right now. Chris Buescher is a contender to easily hit 5x value. Right now I have him for 35 DraftKings points at a 4.7 value. That's given him 9 positions gained, but I don't hate it. I think he can get more, and I think he can be a contender for a 5x. My main issue is I think Buescher's going to have a ton of ownership. I'm trying to project him for a realistic finish. That's why I'm giving him 35 DraftKings points. It's a 4.7 value. Obviously, it's not going to get it done for the optimal at that. I think he's going to be very popular in cash, which is why I don't play cash. Might be a bit over-owned in GPPs as well. We'll touch back on Buescher in the live show this weekend. Suarez, can't do Suarez. Just can't do it. I'll even put Buescher as a D right now because I don't like these prices, and I don't like these two, Suarez and Buescher. I don't like them right now. I don't like them at the prices they're at. I just don't like it, man. Corey LaJoie got him for a 4.3 value right now with 27 points. That's 6 positions gained. It's hard for me to see him doing much more than that. Cole Custer, they've been struggling recently. Probably leave him as a D right now. Newman, this is the first time this year I've projected him to actually finish kind of decent, and that decent is around past 11 people. 35 DraftKings points, man. Probably overpriced. It seems to me like I'm probably going to try and stick with Bubba Wallace this weekend or Ryan Preece. And I don't think I'm going to be touching a lot of the 7K range. It's probably going to be a lot of the 9, 10, 8, probably a lot of Bubba Wallace, and maybe Quinn Houff the more I think about it. Not going to Smithy, not going to Bilicki. Alfredo, I currently have Alfredo projected for 21 points, 3.1 value. Not going to do it for me. Haley going to be a no. BJ McLeod, no. Cody Ware, no. Gaze and Yaley, no. I think you got to consider Quinn Houff because I don't hate it, man. I don't hate it. The lineup so you can make with Quinn Houff. Quinn ceiling right now is giving me 11 points, Quinn. But if you can get me all the lap leaders with Quinn Houff, might not take down GPP, but I might finish 12th. Might finish 33rd with Quinn Houff. I'll take that. Depending on what GPP you're in. And that's really where I'm at. Look at the data this weekend. Look at the lap by lap data. Look at race rating. Look at how these cars have been performing on the intermediate tracks. That's all I'm looking at this week. Things might change. Obviously, like I said, it's Wednesday. Things might change between here and Sunday, but I think this is probably my pool that I'm going with. Might change slightly. You can check out the projections when I do upload them probably Saturday evening on my Patreon. You can support me down there. You can also support me through PayPal if I've helped you at any point this year. If you think I've done anything to help you get better or win you money, or if you just like listening to me, consider donating a couple dollars my way. I do appreciate it. It means a lot. And that's really about it, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you guys for live show on Sunday with Jordan. So see you guys then.